Swamini Namaste Natalokabandho Karunya Sindho Patitam Bhavabdhau Mamuddharatmiya Kataksha Drishtya Rijvyati Karunya Sudhabhivrishtya Swamini Namaste, Swamini Namaste, Swamini Namaste, Swamini Namaste. Nityam vibhum sarvagatam susukshmam antarvahi shunyam ananyamatmanah vijñāya samyak nijarupametat puman vipāpmā virajo vimrityuh vishokanandaghano vipaschit swayam kutaschanna bibheti kaschit nānyosti pantha bhavabandha muktehi vināsat स्वतत्वावगमं मुमुक्षोः अतः परं ब्रह्म सदद्वितीयं विशुद्धविज्ञानघनं निरञ्जनं प्रशान्तमाद्यन्तविहीनमक्रियं निरन्तरानन्दरसस्वरूपं निरस्तमायाकृतसर्वभेदं नित्यं सुखं निष्कलमप्रमेयम् अरूपमव्यक्तमनाख्यमव्ययं ज्योतिः स्वयं किञ्चिदिदं चकास्ति. जय गुरु, जय गुरु, जय गुरु. Again the voice is not behaving properly. So these are the shlokas which I chanted, all are from Viveka Chudamani. Actually these shlokas are very, very beautiful. And you should just turn the pages and look at the shlokas. If you cannot chant, then also okay. Just look at them, see the meanings, and feel transported to that state. These are so beautiful. Okay, where did we stop and where do I start today? I think we should go back a little bit. I was taking with you the qualities of a Jivan Mukta, a knower, and some slokas from Ashtavakra Samhita I was taking. There we came across one shloka. Nisneha putradharadau nishkamo vishayeshu cha nischintasva sharirepi nirashashobhate buddha. Pujya Swamiji was asking me yesterday, what are you taking? Naturally, since I am not following any particular text, on and off, either Pujya Swamiji or Nutha Swamiji, they ask me what I am taking. And I try to tell what I am trying to discuss. So I told him, Swamiji, do you remember? There is a sloka in Ashtavakra Samhita, in the 18th chapter, where in this 18th chapter actually the qualities of a knower is being discussed. In that, there is a very striking shloka. Nisneha putradharadau nishkamo vishayeshu cha nischintasva sharirepi nirashashobhate buddha. The very two words, nisneha putradharadau. What does it say? It says that a knower, even if he is in the family and he has children and wife, family, he is having no delusional clinging. No delusional clinging. It's okay. He has no delusional clinging to them. That is, the spiritual practice is meant for all, the householders as well as ascetics who have gone away from the family. Even in household, a person who practices spirituality in the midst of everything, he will not have any delusional clinging to the family around, his children, his wealth, his wife, his house, his other possessions, his prestige, his recognition, all those things, name, fame. So, it is a very striking example, very significant, because when one is a knower, it seems as if he has to always go away from the house. So, nisneha putradaradav nishkamo vishayeshu cha. He is having no delusional fondness for the son, wife, etc., and nishkamo vishayeshu cha. Also, he has no desire towards enjoying objects of the world. He may be enjoying whatever comes his way, whatever is necessary he does, but he doesn't have any particular desire which makes him feel too much attached, cling to the objects of the desire. Nischinta swasharirepi. Also, he has no concern about his body. He knows that I am the self and not this body. The body is there, the body-mind-intelligence complex, and whatever nature brings in, the day-to-day life, whatever changes come to the body, sometimes maybe disease, all that happens, he just remains as an observer, witnesses the changes happening in the body-mind-intelligence, and he doesn't cling to them. He doesn't get affected by them. Because it is so, because he has no delusional clinging, wherever he is, whether it is a family, whether it is in an ashram, whether it is in a forest, in a small kutia, wherever one is, a knower has no delusional clinging, no attachment. And he is not having desire to particularly enjoy things. He is not even concerned about his body. But what is he then? His treasure is the richness of his within, the self. And remaining in the self, he radiates the joy of the blissful self. He radiates it. Automatically it gets radiated, and he becomes enraptured by that. He becomes intoxicated. Swananda sandra rasapana sumatta chittaha. He becomes intoxicated by the spiritual bliss that comes out from his own within. So he roams about. Nirashaha. He has no desire. Shobhate buddha. He just shines with his own inner spiritual splendor. He shines with the splendor of the self, the soul. This is what he is. So we started with that, and then we went to the fact that how are these wise people, the knowers, why is it that they shine like that? And what are the ignorant people, the deluded people? And we saw that the wise constantly they introspect and they understand that everything in this life is transitory, fleeting, nashwaram. But the ignorant people, they do not understand that, so they drown in the worldly ocean. Who are the wise? The wise people have viveka and vairagya. That is, they have the power of discrimination. They know how to discriminate between what is the real and what is false, what is eternal and what is transitory. They have that discriminating power, and they are constantly reflecting on the self, their intelligence becomes pure, the mind becomes pure, and they are able to do this reflection, rumination over everything that they face in life, and they are able to understand which are the things which are permanent and which are the things which are transitory and fleeting. They understand that all the perishable objects of the world, which normally people think that if we enjoy this or if we achieve this, we acquire this, we'll be happy. All those perishable objects, they come and go, they appear and disappear. That those happinesses are always short-lived. But they, being wise, given to discrimination, given to viveka and vairagya, they are able to understand that what they should look forward to is the everlasting happiness, which is the happiness of the soul, the self. The ignorant and the deluded, they always remain attached to family, children, wealth, etc., etc. So what is the difference between the wise and the ignorant? And the people who are deluded, being ignorant, they become deluded. And why this delusion comes? Because they start thinking that I am the body. They feel that this is the body, I am that, and all the things that belong to me or around me, these are mine. So always there is a feeling and desire either to acquire or to enjoy, or they will have preconceived ideas about these things or futuristic plans about this, regarding the son, regarding the children, the wife, the house, the positions, regarding all the wealth they have, the property they have. Constantly their thoughts will be around these things. So that is why they are not able to think so much about the self or the soul. They suffer because of that. Now, in the last session we saw that these people, they constantly think like this, and their thoughts are never ending. It remains their thoughts around their family and possessions. They remain till they die. And these thoughts are what? Full of desires. Asha pasha shatair baddhaha kamakrodha parayanaha. Asha pasha shatair baddhaha. These thoughts are generated one after another regarding the family, children, wife, possessions, etc. because of the desire to have certain way of life, certain plans for the family, certain plan for the way one wants to live, the work that one does. So many ambitions one will have. So the desires are non-ending, insatiable. It goes on relentlessly. Asha pasha shatair baddha, they get bound by it. They do not even understand that one thought after another, one plan after another, one thing, one desire being fulfilled and thinking about something else, they simply get bound by these desires. And what happens? What is the result? Sometimes the desires will be fulfilled, then one is happy. But most of the time it is not fulfilled. Then what happens? Kama krodha parayana. There will be lot of anger and lust which will be remaining in the mind, affecting the mind. Also, with all the plans that one has about their family, about the life, about the worldly objects that one wants to acquire and possess, they will feel sometimes that, oh, I have succeeded, oh, I have acquired so much of wealth, today I have acquired this much, tomorrow I will acquire that much, today I have done this, so I am, whatever I have planned for my children and my wife, I have been very successful, they are very secure now. No problem will be there in life. They do not understand anytime anything can happen to them. So they go on with these. Also, they are very much afflicted by the fact, afflicted by the thoughts that suppose I lose this, suppose I lose my family, I lose my wealth, I lose my position, I lose my job, what will happen? So constantly they are having the anxiety and worry about the things, that is, worldly objects, then situations, places, people, their own positions, whatever thoughts are there around these things, they for some time may be happy, but they are filled with worry and anxiety, thinking that suppose these are lost, then what will happen to me? What will I do without these? Also they think, suppose I die, then what will happen to my old parents? What will happen to my wife? My wife has a small child in the lap and few children who are just very small. What will happen to them? They will be crying. How will they live? They may die out of their sorrow. So, the scriptures, especially Bhagavatam, it is trying to tell or draw the picture of human mind, which is constantly thinking about the family. My son, my daughter, my wife, my family, my wealth, my property, my cattle, my possessions, all this my. Not understanding that nothing belongs to him. He cannot control anything in life. He should take the responsibility, whatever duty and responsibility he has, he should perform them. But he is nobody to be anxious and worried about it. The one who has created has a plan for every creature from birth to death, and a life will be led only in that plan. We may make effort, the effort may be successful according to us, and sometimes not successful according to us. So, this is the fate of human being. When human beings do not take to viveka and vairagya, do not have introspection, that is, do not take to vichara, that is, thinking in a positive manner, using the intelligence, a clear intelligence. And how will the intelligence become clear? If you think about God, if you think about the self, if you try to ruminate and meditate upon the self, think about Brahman. That is, we try to take our mind and intelligence away from the clutches of all these perishables and focus them on the imperishable, the soul, the self, Brahman or God. You get it? That is, we turn our mind from the perishables which we hold on to. We think that they are giving us happiness, not understanding that these happinesses are short-lived. We turn from there and start focusing throughout the day, anytime which is available to us. We start thinking of God, thinking of Brahman, thinking of the soul, and understand that this is the one imperishable, unaffected soul. Then what will happen? the mind and intelligence, they become pure and clear. So in that pure and clear intelligence, when we take to Viveka and Vairagya, we are able to think properly. Every moment, we will be able to understand which are the thoughts which are binding, how we can come away from those thoughts, how we can have freedom in our thoughts, how we are getting attached unnecessarily to the family. Situations which we cannot do anything, we are getting bound by those situations. Whereas we can make effort to solve the situations, but we need not become worried and anxious. We need not become worried and anxious. Whatever is necessary, you do. A son is not good in studies, maybe he has failed. Make arrangement for getting a tutor, spending some money, or you teach yourself. Do everything that is necessary. But in the name of that, you cannot become worried, anxious, irritated, scolding the son, beating the son, or constantly telling others that he doesn't study. When we do that, actually we are bound, we are attached. And there are so many such incidents which I think all of us know. So, what is the remedy? Remaining in the household, how can one, particularly a spiritual aspirant, avoid the afflictions caused by the world? This is the question. Remaining in the world, how can one, particularly a spiritual aspirant, avoid the afflictions caused by the world? Srimad Bhagavatam has given very beautiful shlokas. As I was telling you, I had taken also one or two. So today, I will take a few of them. First, I will just read the shlokas, tell you the meanings. After that, I'll come back again and each shloka I will go in detail. In the 11th skandha, where Sri Krishna is telling Uddhava. Yesterday, last session I told you that Uddhava was told by Sri Krishna to go away to Vadarika ashrama. And Uddhava says that, my dear Krishna, I am so much attached to my body and my family, in spite of remaining with you for so many years from my childhood. I find that I am attached. So much of fondness I have. I do not know how to go away from there. So please tell me, give me instructions so that I can cut asunder this cord of attachment and I can follow your instructions. So Sri Krishna is saying, Kutumbeshu na sajjeta na pramadyet kutumbyapi vipaschannashwaram pashyed adrishtamapi drishtavat kutumbeshu na sajjeta na pramadyet kutumbyapi vipaschannashwaram pashyed adrishtamapi drishtavat. Kutumbeshu na sajjeta. What did Krishna say to Uddhava? The fate of the householders. The householders, those who are ignorant, they are so much attached to the house and family. They are constantly worried and anxious. Oh, what will happen to my wife? What will happen to my son? What will happen to my daughter? Etc., etc., etc. Constantly crying and worrying. And he also said that by constantly thinking like this, they are ever dissatisfied. They do not have any peace of mind because they are constantly thinking this What will happen to this? Will I be able to make them happy? Will I be able to make them secure? Whatever my wife and children, they are having problems, will I be able to solve them? So, their thoughts are such, they are moodhaha. They are absolutely deluded ones, and their heart is overwhelmed by this so much of attachment that he ever remains dissatisfied and always remains in the darkness. Darkness of what? They don't find any happiness in this life. Small sparks of happiness, but always the mind is dark. So, Sri Krishna is telling, O Uddhava, you are in the household. Understood? Very good. Remain in the household. You have a wife or husband, sons and daughters, you have got parents, you have got relatives and friends, you may be having some wealth and property, your prestige is there, name is there, fame is there, houses are there, very well. But remaining there, please do not get attached. Do not get attached. What does it mean? Krishna is saying, we are hearing. We also do not want to get attached. But what is to be done? What exactly is to be done? Krishna has said. So we will first read. So he says, Kutumbeshu na sajjeta, na pramadyet kutumbyapi. And remaining, thinking about them, don't get deluded. A wise person understands that all these are nashwaram. With whatever is here, the joy that we get here, and the joy that we feel that if we do punya karma, auspicious deeds, we'll have joy in the other world, it is after death. Everything is transitory, he says. But the important thing is that he is telling, oh Uddhava, my dear Uddhava, you are remaining in the household. Try always not to become attached. How? He says, Putra dharapta bandhunam sangamah pantha sangamah anudeham vyante te swapno nidranugo yatha. Putra dharapta bandhunam sangamah pantha sangamah anudeham vyante te swapno nidranugo yatha. So he not only says that you should not get attached to the family, he also tells in which manner one should remain in the household. The problem is that we read, we do not apply, we do not follow, we do not implement it. What is he saying? Yatha swapnaha nidra anugaha. Just as in a dream, when the dream is over, what happens? In the dream, what will happen? We'll see so many things. Maybe in the dream, I have a dream family, I have dream children, I have dream acquisitions, my property and wealth. So all those are in the dream. But when we get up, anudeham ete vyanti, one loses all the objects one possesses in a dream. So when one gets up, one wakes up from the dream, all the family and everything that we had possessed or we were having and feeling very proud about, all gone. And actually, after waking up, we don't feel unhappy that, oh, I was in the dream, I was a king or a queen, I was living in a palace, I was having so many servants and maids and so many chariots. I had a golden crown on my head. And we get up and find that nothing is there. Do we start crying? No. So Krishna says that just as in a dream, when the dream is over, whatever we had in dream is lost. Similarly, Putra dara apta bandhunam sangamaha, pantha sangamaha. In the dream, when we get up, we feel that, oh, in the dream we had all these things and now they are gone, they are gone. We do not remain attached to them. Similarly, while actually in your wakeful state, whatever you are having, consider that for some time you are having them and maybe it will sometime you will lose them also. So don't get worried about it. In the wakeful state, what we are having, we are constantly worrying about whatever we have. Which will we lose is one fear. We want to have these things, whether we will get, whether our wish will be fulfilled, that is another worry. So worry and fear. But in the dream we are not concerned at all. Whatever we are getting or having, it just vanishes with the dream. In the wakeful state also, O Uddhava, think that it is a brief meeting of the travelers in a caravan. Say we are going the train, maybe a long distance journey is there. We meet so many co-passengers, we speak to them, talk to them, exchange notes. We feel that we are together. And when station comes, some of them get down. We may not be seeing them at all. Another station comes, some more get down. But we are not feeling a sense of loss or worry, anxiety, what will happen to them. Similarly, in the wakeful time, in the family also, consider the family people. Now we are considering this is my wife, my husband, my son, my daughter, my parents. Yes, they are. But mentally do not get attached to them. Consider that all of you have come together as if in a fair, as if in a place where there are travelers have met. Itham parimarshan mukto griheshvatithi vadvasan na grihair anubadhyeta nirmamo nirahankritaha. Itham parimashan mukto griheshvatithi vadvasan na grihair anubadhyeta nirmamo nirahankritaha. Itham parimashan mukto griheshu atithi vadvasan. So, what is it saying in this verse? The previous verse, Putra Dara Apta Bandhunam. That is, the association of children, wife, relatives and friends is only like a Pantha Sangamaha, is like a brief meeting of all the travelers in one place. So, if that has to be followed, that kind of an attitude has to be there, then what we should do? Itham parivarshan mukto griheshvatithi vadvasan na grihair anubadhyeta nirmamo nirahankritaha. My dear children, these are being told by Krishna to a householder. With what attitude and aim? For that householder who feels that I am bound by the sense of I-ness and mindness. My mind is narrow. I always suffer. I am afflicted by my thoughts around my family and friends. I want to be liberated. Krishna is giving these instructions. So he is telling step by step how one should live in a household. He said that do not get attached and think that you have all come together like travelers come together in their journey. It is like that. Further he is saying, you will be able to do that. Itham parimrishan mukto. Think about this. What is that? This truth. that we have all come together. Though we consider that we are related to each other, we are actually like travelers who have come together while in a journey. Reflecting on this truth, griheshu atithivadvasan, remain in your house like an atithi, like somebody who is visiting you, like a visitor. Like when we visit some place, we do not get identified with that place. We may be going somewhere, we'll go. Sometimes when people are going to new places, they may stay in hotels, maybe they will stay in some rented place. They don't have an identification with the place. Our problem is that we get identified. We first get identified with the body, mind, intelligence. So I am this I am this gross body, mind, intelligence. And then we get identified with whatever we feel belongs to us. So this identification, becoming one with that creates all the trouble. Because we feel so much identified that when some change takes place which is not according to our wishes, we become very depressed, we feel sorrowful, sad, afflicted. So he says, just like an atithi, a visitor, when he visits some place, he doesn't get identified with that place. We also should remain in the house, but we should not have that strong attachment and identification with each and everything. Duties you do, responsibilities you take up, whatever is necessary you do. But this identification, you should remove. Itham parimrishan mukto griheshvatithivadvasan na grihairανubadhyeta nirmamo nirahankritaha. So, and then live in the home like a guest. Like a guest. The guest will come, they may also come and do some work with you. It happens when relatives come home and when cooking takes place. If she is a lady, she will go to the kitchen to assist the housewife. If men are there, they also assist the master of the house in certain things. Maybe go with him to get some vegetables or marketing. If something is not working, maybe some gadget is not working or a tap is leaking, even the visitor, he will also help the person in the house. But they will not be identified with this place. In the mind they know that I do not belong to this place. My house is somewhere else. Like there are some assistants, domestic helps, who come from the village and they take up a job in the houses of the city dwellers. They stay there. They feel that they look after the children of the master. They will get up early in the morning, cook food, look after the small children of the master, maybe the old mother of the master. Everything they will do. When they will talk about the small children, they may even say that my Rama, my Yadu, if their names are Rama and Yadu, my Rama has become very naughty now. My Rama now crawls. So that my word she will use actually. But in her mind, she knows very well, this is not my house. I belong to the house in the village. Similarly, a householder or whichever ashram holder, wherever we are, we must feel that I belong to God. Whatever has to be done our activities, our responsibilities, duties, whatever works comes in front, we must be doing it very well, exceptionally well, excellently well, without any laziness, without any procrastination. But we must know that I belong to my Lord. This feeling should be there. So Krishna is telling Uddhava, Na grihair anubadhyeta. First he says that griheshu atithivat vasan. Remain like a guest in the house, as if you have come and you are a guest. You are just watching. You are just watching everything. You are the observer. And when you can do that? Nirmamaha. When we do not have that I-ness feeling, nirmamaha, without any possessiveness, nirahankaraha, if you do not have any ego. Our ego, that I, and this possessiveness, the mind, this is our problem. So, be a guest and live in the house like a guest, without possessiveness, without false ego, and do not get bound by any domestic affair. See, domestic affairs will be there. So many domestic affairs every day we have. See, we are in an ashram. So many things we have to do. But through every activity we learn how not to get bound, how not to get bound by what we are doing. Every situation, from morning till night, it is similar to the households in many of the things. Only thing, the ashrams run in a very, very time-oriented manner, in a devotional manner, around spirituality, around a spiritual person, and all our thoughts, all our deeds, everything that we do is for expansion of the mind, to completely expand and be united with the all-pervading Brahman. We have that feeling, we try and do our work. And through that, we always try to be non-possessive, not be possessive. Leave possessiveness, leave the ego. We can expand our mind only when the ego will be left and the possessiveness will be left. What is possessiveness? This is my work, this I do very well. Nobody can do better than me, so you do not include others. You can as well say, if there is a work which others also want to do, leave it to them. Include them in your work. Give them the joy that you are doing, you are getting in having done something. Give others also that joy. That is including everybody. My dear children, I don't have to tell you what is the number of this lecture? 98. I have spoken 98 lectures. I have spoken for the 98 lectures. Similarly, Nuthan Swamiji and Swamiji. How many lectures? And many other lectures you are listening. Our aim is to be free, natural, liberated, expanded, flow into everything, spread into everything, find the same God, the same Brahman, the same spirituality, same auspiciousness, the holiness, the divinity, purity, everywhere, in everything, every object, every thought, every action, every interaction. That is our aim. We are going through the scriptures have told us step by step what we have to do. If we are sincere, if you are serious, I tell you always, every day, that these are not to be just heard, not to be just read, not to feel happy only at that moment. Oh, it is very good. After that, next moment you get into chit-chat with others. Unnecessary things. How much we talk. Talk. So, possessiveness should be removed. Ego should be removed. And remain as a guest. That is, just be an observer. Not get attached, clinging to everything, thinking that I just cannot do without it. Without me, nothing will work. Those thoughts are absolutely wrong. The one who has created knows how to look after a life. So, if we can do that, O Uddhava, then one does not get bound in the domestic affairs. You may remain in your house, you will not get bound. You will not get bound. Unfortunately, in the households, nobody teaches us this. Our parents do not know. We are taught to worship, pray. But we are not taught not to be possessive in this sense, not to be egoistic in this sense, where we can simply get out of this bondage and feel free and expanded in the mind. कर्मभिर्गृहमेधीयैरिष्ट्वा मामेव भक्तिमान् तिष्ठद्वनं वोपविशेत् प्रजावान् वा परिव्रजेत् कर्मभिर्गृहमेधीयैः इष्ट्वा मामेव भक्तिमान् तिष्ठेद्वनं वोपविशेत् प्रजावान् वा परिव्रजेत् कर्मभिः गृहमेधीयैः इष्ट्वा मामेव भक्तिमान् तिष्ठेद्वनं वोपविशेत् प्रजावान् वा परिव्रजेत्. Just see what Krishna is saying. It says, one who is devoted to me can remain to live in the home itself till his end. So he is giving, you stay in the house in this manner, you will not be bound. And he says, if you are devoted to me, means if you practice how I am instructing you, you can remain in the house and you will not be bound. You can remain in the house, perform all your duties in the house, offering everything to me. You must offer it to me. Not think, I have done this, I have done that. As in 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is saying, today I have possessed this much of wealth, tomorrow I will possess this. Today I have done this, tomorrow I will do this. Oh, I am very rich, I am very happy, I am very powerful. Who is there equal to me? Not like that. Offer everything to me. He says, my dear Uddhava, if you want to be liberated, if you want to be severing the clutches of I-ness and mine-ness and feel liberated, then do like this. And remain in the house just like a guest. Do not have possessiveness, do not have ego, do not have any desire. And whatever duties you have, do it. But offering everything to me means what? Offering everything to me. Constantly remembering the fact that everything belongs to God, everything is created by God, and I too belong. So if I belong, how can I take the credit of I have done this or I have done that? Or I could not do this and I could not do that? Where is this I? I also belong to that Supreme Lord who has created this, who is giving everything, creating the work, getting it done by us. We feel that I have done, and we feel that I should be praised, I should be recognized. If it is not done, then I feel very depressed. This is how we live. So it says that one who is devoted to me can remain in the home till the end, performing all the duties, offering to me. Or he can take to Vanaprastha. My dear children, many times Swamiji tells that there are 4 ashramas. People should take to, after Grihastha they should go to the Vanaprastha ashrama. After that, the sannyasa. Here, in this devotional text, Sri Krishna is telling Uddhava that, oh Uddhava, you can take to Vanaprastha life, living the life of an ascetic in the forest. These days, one will not go to the forest, but you can stay in a secluded place, away from all relatives and friends, family. Or entrust all the household affairs to the son, if you have one. And you can become a sannyasin, a holy wanderer in the broad world with no fixed residence. Krishna is saying this. Bhaktiman mam eva, a householder devotee who worships me. Grihamedhiyahi karmavihi ishtva. He is grihamedhi. That is, he does all his household work. And performing all the household work, duties, karmavihi ishtva. That is, whatever is the household duty for him, he performs, but as an offering to me, the Supreme. So he can do that. He continues to live in the house with that kind of feeling. That is, if a person can completely change his mental attitude, he doesn't find anything except God. Whether he thinks, whether he speaks, whether he acts, whether he interacts, in every moment, everything, he is constantly united in God. Such a person can remain there because automatically all that he does becomes an offering to God. Because he understands that it is God and God alone. That is, I have no separate identity than God. Vanam va upabhishet, or he can go to the forest as a vanaprastha. He can go to vanaprastha. If he is not able to remain with this nitya yuktata in the house itself, let him go away from the family, because remaining in the family is not able to bring about that wholesomeness. That wholesomeness, one-pointedness, the unitedness, nitya yuktata, he is not able to bring about. Remaining in the midst of his family, his possessions, his wife and children, his constant thoughts about how to manage my wealth and riches, how to bring about more security for my children. He is not able to become one-pointed. So let him, at a particular age, when the children have become quite grown up, you go as a vanaprastha. Where will you go? Now, these days, nobody will go to forest. Earlier days, they used to go to forest. You can go, live separately, and spend your time in the thought of God. Will you do? All these, I think, mostly people are hearing, somebody else let them do. I'm just hearing. I think this is the way. Let others do. I'm hearing, it's very nice. After the lectures, oh, Krishna told such beautiful things, such elevated things, he said, but not for me. So if you don't want to go from the house, at least you be Nitya Yukta. Always ever united. In your thought, deed, actions, be ever united. So, vanam va upavishet, or prajavahan va paribrajet, or take to sannyasa after entrusting the household to your son, if you have one. Can you imagine? Krishna is telling Uddhava. These are instructions, but actually, people will say that Srimad Bhagavatam is a devotional text. But they will miss all these things. They will only chant and recite the stutis of God. What that God has given you as instruction to follow, most people do not give importance to it. But even to read, my dear children, even to read and think of such a state, whether you can do or not do, just imagine this state where you are constantly in the thought of God, remaining in the household. You are doing all your household work, household chores, doing everything for the family, but with that constant touch, connection with God. In everything there is an association with God. God or Brahman, whatever you feel like. Or feel that, oh, I want to be alone. Maybe I want to be with the like-minded people. You go to the ashrams. Or you do not want to go to an ashram. Just take a small room and be there. But there also you should be connected to God. The first thing is this. The primary thing is that wherever you are, whether you are in the household or in Brahmaprastha or sannyasa, everywhere, the aim is to be surrounded by God, in the thought of God. Govinda parirambhitaha. Be surrounded by God thought, by touch of God everywhere, wherever you are seeing. It is God and God alone. So, we have come here. He has told all these things. I'll go back to the first one. Kutumbeshu na sajjeta na pramadyet kutumbyapi vipaschannashwaram pashyet adrishtam-api drishtavat. So, Uddhava, as we saw, slowly, in steps, he is telling us how we can remove clinging, how we can become non-possessive, how we can become non-egoistic, and which will bring about the liberation. We will not feel bound. And he is also saying that the whole aim is to be constantly in touch with God. You can do it by offering all your activities, your thoughts, everything, remain in the house. Or you can go out as a vanaprastha, or even you can take sannyasa. So these are steps by which we have gone. The first thing is what? Definitely we will go slowly towards this, the extreme last point, starting from somewhere. What is he saying? How will the mind start thinking about this wholesomeness and one-pointedness? Kutumbeshu na sajjeta. You remain in the family, but do not get attached to it. What does it mean really? What does it mean? See, in Bhagavad Gita, asaktiranavishvangaha putradara grihadishu. Krishna tells there. Here Krishna is telling Uddhava. There Krishna is telling whom? Arjuna. In 13th chapter, Krishna is telling that Arjuna, asaktihi anavishwangaha putra dara grihadishu. He also says, janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dosha anudarshanam. So what is asaktir anavishwangaha? Kutumbeshu na sajjeta. Don't get attached to the family. Asakti and anavishwangaha is also that. Putra dara grihadishu. To the son, to the wife, to the house, to the wealth, to the cattle. Those days cattle, it would be understood who is how much rich by the number of cattle they had. So, asaktihi anavishwanga. What is saktihi? When we are fond of something, we want to enjoy that, and while enjoying, we become very much fond of something. We become very attached. We start clinging. That is called saktihi. And what is asaktihi? Devoid of that fondness. That is, we are dealing with something. We are enjoying certain things. We are interacting with certain things or certain people, but we are not deluded by this undue fondness or undue attachment. That is asakti. Anavishwangaha. Avishwangaha is we are considering that my wife, my child, my daughter, my house, my property, and my body. So whenever anything happens to these things, suppose something happens to the body, a little sickness, how much we become worried about it. If something happens to the family people, how much we are worried. So the attached, wherever we are attached and wherever we have undue fondness, when something happens to them, we also start suffering because of them. Suppose the son and daughter, they are mentally not well. Some of them are depressed. Sometimes some of them are very angry, and because of their anger, they create problem. Because of their tendencies, their nature, whether it is a wife or children, we start suffering. Suppose a child does not study well, and we also suffer thinking that what will happen. Suppose he doesn't study, suppose he doesn't get a job. So the happiness or unhappiness of anybody whom we are fond of, we are attached to, becomes our own happiness and unhappiness. We suffer because of that. That is avishwanga. Anavishwanga is when we do not have that. So Krishna is saying, O Arjuna, to be liberated, what is knowledge? What is this true knowledge? And he lists out 20 qualities. Out of that, these are the ones also which are included. Asaktihi anavishwangaha putra dara grihadishu. That is, O Arjuna, to be able to feel free, liberated, not having any affliction or affectation, do not have any undue attachment to, or do not have this feeling of happiness and unhappiness to whomever you are fond of. That is asakti and anavishwangaha you must develop to be able to be free and happy yourself. Asaktihi anavishwangaha putra dara grihadishu. Putra is son, dara is wife, griha is house, adi means etc. Etc. You can add any more number of things, whatever you want to. To these things we are attached. We consider these to be our own, our mine. We do not consider God to be our mine. We cry so much if our son is not well wife is not well, daughter is not well, if we have lost some money, how much we cry. With worry and anxiety, we cry so much, we weep. Do we cry for God or weep for God, thinking that, oh God, I do not get your touch, I do not feel you, I do not know you, I do not even understand to whom I am praying, whose temple is this? Do we cry? We do not. We cry only for the ones whom we consider mama, mine, aham and mama. All these are mama. That is why Uddhava is saying that I am so much bound by this I-ness and mineness feeling. Soham mamaham modhamatir vigadaha. And with this mama and aham feeling, I am so deluded. Modhamatihi vigadaha. Dense, very deep delusion I am carrying. By identifying myself with this body and identifying myself with the objects and places and people whom I think they belong to me. So, asaktihi anavishwangaha putradara grihadishu. Putradara grihadishu. But all that we consider ourselves to be belonging to us, developed asaktihi, lack of possessiveness, anavishwangaha, that is, our happiness and unhappiness should not depend on them. And also, Krishna says, Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. He says that Kutumbeshu na sajjeta. He will come back to this sloka, Bhagavatam sloka. What? Kutumbeshu na sajjeta. I have recited it, you have heard it. Maybe if I recite it 2-3 times, it will remain in your mind. What is it saying? Do not get attached to the family. But how? I am surrounded by my family. How will I take away my fondness for them, my attachment for them, my liking for them, my getting worried about them, my anxiety about them? How will I take it away? With what? So that scriptures are saying, in various scriptures, now I was taking Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that yes, you will be able to do. You have to apply your mind and intelligence. Take to introspection, take to reflection, take to vichara, and constantly see where you are bound, where you are possessive, when you are getting attached, what is making you worried, and try to remove that. He also says it will be easier if you constantly reflect upon Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. You are having attraction, attachment, liking towards your family and other possessions. All that will go. How? If you introspect. What will you introspect upon? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha. That is, start thinking. Everything in this world is what? Perishable. Perishable. Short-lived. And everything in this world gives us dukkha at the end. Janma. See, our own birth we do not experience. But if you consider that when a fetus is in the womb and when the fetus comes out, how much the mother suffers, what all pain the mother has, and the child also must be having, though that experience of pain does not remain with the person later on. We do not remember even. Only after a few years we become a little conscious and we can remember to that. But before that, what has happened, we do not know. But if you consider how much the fetus will be, the child will be coming out full of phlegm and blood and all that. Not only that, as soon as the child is born, what is born along with it? Anxiety and worry. Whether the child will be okay in health, whether the child will have a good life, whether the child will be brought up well, will be settled. So, along with that, every anxiety and worry about the child starts. So, where is any sukha? The feeling that a child is born is a happiness, no doubt. But along with that, all dukkha starts, all anxiety starts. A child is born, the parents, they are very happy. But then they start getting worried about the health of the child, about the intelligence of the child. When the child is a little big, then the parents will feel, will he get admitted in a good school? Suppose he gets admitted in a good school, will he pass well? Will he get a rank? That also, suppose the child has done well and is studying well, does some higher studies also, take to some stream also, then ultimately passes, gets a good job. But at every step the parents are having worry and anxiety. Will he get? Will he get? Will he get? And suppose he gets a good job, then a good daughter-in-law has to come. So that is also another worry. After the daughter-in-law has come, suppose the daughter-in-law is very good. Then the worry is why they are not having a child. That is another worry. Suppose they had a child, will this grandchild grow up well? Suppose the grandchild also grows well, and everything is okay. By that time what has happened? The son also is growing. The grandchild also studies and is becoming bigger and bigger, older and older. Son is also becoming older and older. Parents, all the more old. What is their last anxiety? My son should not die before me. Son is also quite old. They are also old. So the last anxiety is that, he should not die before I die. So where is any happiness? Little happiness. The son has got a child, very happy. The child has done very well in the exam, very happy. He got a very good wife, very happy. Nicely, wedding was done, very happy. Grandchild is born, very happy. Lot of party and all that. Those happinesses get over very, very soon, short-lived. And again another worry comes. Ultimately, suppose he dies. God, see to it, this should not happen. So, asaktir anabhishvangaha putradara grihadishu. And how will that come? He says that janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanudarshanam. Constantly think that whatever we think is giving us happiness, pariname, that is at the end, as a result or at the end, it is only giving us dukkha and worry. So, that these are associated with dukkha alone, that should be reflected upon. And when we reflect, what will happen? When we know that something is not going to give me happiness, slowly the attraction towards that will go away. It will become lesser and lesser. Because we are thinking by our intelligence. We have started reasoning out with our clear intelligence, understanding, and we are able to take the right path and right position. Okay, time is up, so I'll do this again next session. సంపూర్ణం జగదేవ నందనవనం సర్వేపి కల్పద్రుమాః గాంగం వారి సమస్తవారి నివహాః పుణ్యాః సమస్తాః క్రియాః వాచ ప్రాకృత సంస్కృతా శ్రుతిశిరో వారాణసీ మేదినీ సర్వావస్థితిరస్య వస్తు విషయా దృష్టే పరబ్రహ్మణి సర్వావస్థితిరస్య వస్తు విషయా దృష్టే పరబ్రహ్మణి. జై గురు, జై గురు, జై గురు.